with the educated opinion on topics of all varieties. Yo, it's your boy Bubba, and you are listening to Bubba's Banter. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your motherfucking boy. It's your motherfucking boy. I fucked it all up, but y'all know who it is, right? It's your boy Bubba, and you are listening to Bubba's Banter. I hope you guys are living well, feeling well, because I'm feeling okay. First off, I just want to give y'all a warning that I am a little under the weather. The funny part about being sick, though, is I get sick, like, I'll be sick for a day, and then my immune system, like, turns into Mike Tyson, and and I'll be, look at me coughing, and I'll be good. But anyways, I hope you guys are living well, feeling well. I'm doing okay. The show is going to be great tonight. It's going to be great. So you guys know where to follow me at, right? Which is Bubba's Banter Podcast on IG. Bubba's Banter on Facebook, on Twitter, Bubba's Banter, and I'm still working on my website. Yes. Also, you can follow me on my personal, which is the Real Doc Dre on Instagram. But I want to ask you a question before I start the motherfucking show, y'all. So I want to know, do you want to feel the overall comfort throughout your day? Well, I can tell you how to do that, and that is by wearing a good pair of underwear. I would suggest you buy a good pair of underwear from Bearskin. Bearskin is an underwear company about being comfortable in who you are, and comfort starts with a great pair of underwear. Y'all, I'm telling you guys, they're not paying me to do this promo. This is what I'm doing on my own because these underwear are so bomb. But if you use my promo code Bubba, you will get 15% off in your checkout order. I promise you, these underwear are so good. I'm telling you. But yeah, so tonight's show, man, I have two people coming on my show that I've been trying to get these people in. We tried to record. This is probably our fourth time now. And thank God they're not mad at me yet. So I'm going to bring the boys in, David and my good boy, Darius. Yo, y'all. So, welcome in. Finally. So I told the people that we tried to do this show like 5 times already. At least that's what it feels like.
And did.
I think it's literally 5 times.
I think it might have literally been 5.
Oh my God.
You're the way for a reason, sis.
I appreciate y'all so much. Like, it's been a journey. Figuring this shit all out, like,
and this is our last time recording.
Yes, because I got it down. Like, I got it down, so I ain't gotta worry about shit now.
I believe it, girl. I believe it.
Anyway, so today we are going to be talking about body positivity. So yeah,
why you say it like that?
So I got inspired to like revisit this topic because I had my homie Brandon from The Guide. He lives in New York, actually. He has this magazine that's catered to like male expression, body types of men of all colors, different fetishes, sizes, kinks, whatever. It's a guide on like the expression of different people within our culture. So yeah, and it just made me want to follow up with like some other gay folks to talk about, you know, body positivity and how it's affected like your lifestyle or just the way you live or whatever, you know. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Make sure y'all go follow my boy Brandon at the Gay Body Guy, the Gay Body Guy on Instagram. He is really phenomenal. He's cool. I love talking to him. I'm gonna have him back on the show soon, actually. So I want to start the show off with a hard question, which is, how do you feel about your body? Are you happy with it? Are you content? Do you want to transform it? Like, where do you see yourself at in this current moment?
That's a question. I think it's heavy, no pun intended.
Heavy, baby, heavy.
I feel like everyone went through some kind of like body transformation over the COVID pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of people who were really invested in like getting more fit and like focusing on their health in that way. And I feel like there were other people like me who I was like, damn, I could die tomorrow. Like the world's ending. People are protesting in the streets. This virus that keeps evolving and trying to fucking kill everybody is in places that I can't see. So I'm gonna just get this this burger off Uber Eats.
Right.
And I wasn't spending a lot of money on other stuff, so I could spend it all on food. And I'm an emotional eater for sure, and I definitely like have attached a lot of the fun things in my life to food. So all that is to say, I definitely gained some weight over the pandemic, and I think I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life at this moment. And so I feel surprisingly like okay with that. With all of that being said, but it's not because of a lack of work. Like it's not because I'm just like, oh, I'm okay with my body today. There are definitely days where I'm like, you fucking fat bitch, like
right,
you can't fit this shirt that you bought, or clothes that or stores you were buying clothes from. It doesn't fit you anymore. And clothes are, I like to get dressed and shit. I like to put that shit on. So there's certain places that I get my clothes from that I'm like, damn, I was at the maximum when I was really fitting the clothes, and now I really can't get into them the way I used to. So I think I feel okay with my body. The thing that bothers me is that my body isn't made for access. Like I can't fit in some seats.
Yeah.
I can't, some spaces are just not meant for me to be big in. And that's, that's a discussion, a whole separate discussion. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just like, I feel discomfort because of the way that we make things for people, like chairs, like cars and planes and shit like that.
Yeah. David?
So, I don't know. I've always felt pretty comfortable with my body. I've kind of been the same body type and almost even the same weight kind of ever since I was, 18 onward, kind of hovering around the same level.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never really had a lot of like drastic body changes, which is kind of like, which would lead me to like reevaluate how my body is viewed to other people.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also leave kind of space for myself to, yes, be comfortable with my body, but also be kind of want improvement. Like I don't go to the gym at all. I know that there are so many important, things that you can get from exercising regularly. Part of that is weight loss, if that's something that's important. But a lot of it is just like, more energy. You just kind of feel better about yourself. Yeah. I think that's something that I'm interested in. I'm not so much interested in like losing weight or even like putting on like muscle. Like, I don't know. I want to kind of like what Darius was saying, like life is really short. I don't know if I want to spend my time kind of transforming my body if only to attract other people, make people think, X, Y, or Z of me. If I'm going to put effort, into my body, I want it just to be just for me, just so I can feel better about myself and not worry about like, how other people see me. I think, I don't know. I think with especially gay men, I think so much of how we see ourselves is through the lens of how people see us. Yeah. It's hard to kind of like step back from that and be like, okay, this is my body. This is the only body that I've got. I can't really compare it to anyone else because no one else is me. And like that, that adage, comparison is the thief of joy, is like completely true. Right. The more and more you're comparing yourself to somebody, the kind of more unhappy you get, I feel, at least for me. And like there's almost no end game with comparing yourself to people. There's always going to be someone who is more good looking, who, has clearer skin or is lighter. Like it's an attainable goal. There will always be people who have something that you want body wise. And like, I feel like the healthier thing to do is just focus that effort into understanding and being comfortable with your own body for its own sake.
I agree. I feel, for me, I feel okay, but I wouldn't say I'm happy or content because I'm always on this journey of like trying to change something. Or I went through a 90-day challenge and I lost 60 pounds. I felt like the best.
That was crazy.
I felt the best version of myself ever. Like that difference of like what you were saying, Darius, about fitting in a chair. Like me going to try on clothes at Target, I felt like, oh, nigga, I got a large shirt on. Like,
yeah.
Okay. Like,
fitting into a smaller size is like one of those. It's a great feeling.
Real,
I gotta
like,
be honest.
muscles was popping, was toned. Like people like was giving me compliments, and I felt really good. And then like all that shit happened. I ain't gonna dig deep into that, but yeah, I gained all the way back, and then I gained to like 30 back, but like still like the fact that it happened. So I'm like always in this consistent way of trying to change. And so like for me, I'm never satisfied. I feel like. Like I'm trying to go ahead.
I was going to say, it's crazy how I think this relates to the satisfaction piece. When you lose weight, there's this fear of gaining the weight back because you get all this attention, right? Like you just said, you got all these compliments. People were, fucking with you in a different way. And people even just communicate with you, see you differently.
Yeah.
And the fear is when you put that weight back on, are they going to treat me the same way? Am I going to get compliments? Are people going to give me attention in the space? Even just respect. I find that when I was smaller, people respected me a little bit more, and it's funny how that happens. And it's just like, damn, I wish that weight loss wasn't attached to some feeling of accomplishment, or that people wouldn't treat it like it was something that is worth reverence, when the reality is that damn, I'm fat and I still deserve to be celebrated in some way. But I just wanted to say that out loud while I was thinking about it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I agree on that. I don't want to get too deep into that because that's a question I have to talk about later on the show. So, if you didn't know, body positivity, the movement technically it started back in the 60s or something like that, what I was Googling, but it didn't really get prevalent until 2012. And the main focus was challenging unrealistic or beauty standards. But as time moved on, it kind of shifted to acceptance of weight, and they started a message that all bodies are beautiful. And so my question to you, if you know anything about the body positivity movement or you've seen it online, how do you feel about it, and what are some pros or some cons for you that you may have for the movement? I can start off. So my pros,
I got a lot to say.
My pros are that in some ways they do empower people to feel good about themselves, because I think when it comes to movements, movements always movements sometimes can get muddy. Every movement has its pros and cons. They have the good part of it over here and then the bad part of it over here. And so I don't want to say entirely that I hate the body positive movement, but I feel there was parts of it where it kind of felt like they were only caring so much about the big folks and not really caring about all bodies in some sense, because
well, it wasn't the intention to celebrate bigger bodies?
No, the intention was to celebrate all all bodies are beautiful, disabled people who that are too skinny and can't gain weight, or they were pretty much saying all bodies are beautiful because every group has a negative stigma attached to them in some way, some shape or form. But then it became about just being a big sexy person, which I mean, at the same time, in honesty, I feel that big people suffer a lot more than any person. That's just my opinion. As far as when it comes to body type, I mean, of course, yes, disabled people, I've heard some people struggle about being an amputee or in a wheelchair and trying to date and stuff like that. I've heard stories and talked to people about that too, so I get that part too. But again, I don't want to jump off the pros and cons of it, but one of the pros again is it empowers people to be themselves and to love themselves on some level. And then it builds confidence, having people to hear you out to some degree. But the cons, I got some cons.
Are we moving straight to the cons?
Okay, go ahead. You go ahead. Okay, you're right. Let's stick to the pros first, and then we can do the cons.
No, I mean, I think another pro is just it kind of having these conversations about body positivity kind of forces people to kind of evaluate some of the prejudices that they have.
Oh, yes.
People of different body types, fat people that are disabled. And I think it's important to shine a light on fat phobia and ableism. And I think that the body positivity movement does that in a way that's very empowering to people who are of those marginalized communities. I feel I don't know if I feel super appropriate to talk about cons in the body positivity community. So I'm gonna kind of let y'all have this.
Darius didn't do his
You call
pros.
me a fat bitch, David? What the fuck you just say?
In so many words.
You just said you fat bitch. I think one of the pros, and I'm okay being a fat bitch, so thank you. No, but I think one of the pros was that we got to see how different communities value bodies. Ooh. And by communities, I mean like based on race or ethnicity. Like, I think that the conversation around body positivity is really interesting to view through a race lens because, for example, like when you, in the Black community, like I can say that for myself, people have definitely, my family for the most part has judged me for being fat. Like the conversation is always like, are you working out? Why are you eating that? Like, you know, there's the constant surveillance of what I'm doing around food, even control around it. And it's sometimes framed as like an issue, like a health concern. Like, you know that high blood pressure, diabetes runs in our family, so you need to control that, right? Which is fair, and that's something that I have had to separate from myself to say, like, I know that there's a legitimate health concern, but then there's also just people being fucking nosy and fat phobic and wanting to tell you about yourself. But I've never felt like people didn't see me as attractive because I was fat for being Black or in the Black community. And even in other communities, like in Latino communities, and I grew up in I grew up in New York, and I went to school in mostly Latino and Black communities. So I never felt like people didn't think I was attractive because I was fat. I didn't think that I was attractive because of what I saw on TV. I didn't think that I was attractive because of what I saw on porn, and what was being reinforced in some ways at home. And even as I've gotten older and I've become more sexually active and all that stuff, like weight has been a much bigger point of discussion with white people. Like with white men who are like, I love that you're big, I love that you're fat, I like all that kind of stuff. Whereas Black men will just say, I think you're cute, period. And it's like, and leave it there. And it's not because you're fat, it's not because you got titties, whatever, like it's just because you're cute. And so even with Black women, like you can be a curvy Black woman, have ass, have titties, have stomach, and people celebrate that. They've celebrated that forever. We see it all across the diaspora. So I think the pro, to circle back, is that we are able to understand bodies and the way that we accept or view bodies through a racial lens, and I think that's such an important piece of the body positivity conversation. Yeah.
Okay. For my cons.
So now the cons.
My cons. One of the cons for me is that there, in some parts of it, there is like this, I don't want to say fake positivity, but like it's kind of like, is nonchalant the right word I want to use? So like, okay, for instance, one of the things that burns my fucking ass, is when I be like, I want to lose like 20 or 30 pounds, blah, blah, blah. And the first thing someone says to me, Andre, you're beautiful as you are. You don't need to lose any weight. And I'm like, bitch, I know I'm fat. Like, I didn't say that I was ugly. I just said I want to lose a couple lbs. Like, I didn't say I was ugly. So I kind of like take that as like, kind of like a backhanded compliment to a degree. Cause I'm like, do you hear what you're saying to me? Like, I'm fucking beautiful. Like, I don't think that I'm ugly because I'm fat. I just want to lose a couple lbs because I want to like feel a little bit better. I want to be able to walk up the stairs without fucking taking a deep breath after the fucking last step. Like, I want to feel good. It has nothing to like me. Like today I posted a picture of, my 90-day thing, and I got so many people messaging me like, oh, you're so beautiful. And I'm like, I was getting so pissed off because I was like, why did I even post this? Because like, dude, I'm not saying that like I feel bad for being a big person. I'm just saying I saw where I was and where I got to, and I'm kind of sad that I let my discipline down. Like, I'm not saying that I'm like ugly. Like, what are you guys not like computing in your head?
And I think that's some of the frustration too, is that people like when the conversation around weight loss comes up, people will do everything in their power to make you feel like you're like, you don't have to change yourself. You're perfect the way you are. But they don't remind you of that when you're not talking about weight loss. Like I feel like people they're not
bang.
You look so hot today. And like, I love that you look big. Like there's people don't say that kind of thing. People will say as a compliment, girl, you look snatched today. Like you look like you lost a few pounds. No, those are the kinds of compliments that people give on a regular basis when they see you. And so to hear people be like, oh no, you don't have to lose weight. It's like, well, yes, I appreciate that you were saying that like I am fine the way that I am, but also let's create a culture of like complimenting that isn't centered around like how thin you look or how much weight you look like you've lost. And then also I think people have we're so obsessed with weight that like we're always announcing when we're on a diet. Like, I need to stop eating fries. I need to lose 10 pounds.
I'm on keto.
And I'm on keto. And so it's just like, there's this constant conversation about what we're doing to improve ourselves and our bodies. And it can become, it's just so normal now.
Yeah.
And I think that the normal response to that is, you don't need to do that. But no one's really thinking critically about that because it's it's just like an ingrained part of our like dialogue.
Yeah.
It almost reminds me a little bit of like white guilt, where like people don't really know like how to be a part of these conversations about weight without being like incredibly positive about it.
Yeah.
So like it's almost like just like a like I don't have any dogs in this fight, so like I'm just going to say you're beautiful, you don't need anything, and just like, you know, it's like people think there's either that, like you'd have that option, or it's the, oh, you know, you're super fat, blah blah blah, when there's just like a kind of an in between of like weight should be a neutral thing, either gaining or losing weight. It's not like a, oh, you should never gain weight, you should never lose weight. It's like a, I don't know, it's a person to person situation kind of thing.
And one of the things I hated too when he was like, you better not lose too much weight, you're gonna look like a skeleton, your head gonna be big.
Your head gonna be big. But it'd be true though.
They're just looking out. They're just looking out for you though.
I'm dead. Why black people, first of all, I love that across the board, niggas they have the same conversation.
Bro.
You know your head gonna be big.
Your head gonna be big. It's already big, Andre. You know it's gonna be bigger. But another con for me too is just that I feel like sometimes in the same sentiments that sometimes it does make people be stagnant. Like it's telling them like, you're not good enough to get to that goal. You're not good enough to like want to make that transformation. You don't need to lose weight. You just like, it's like I don't know how to say it in a way where it doesn't sound like offensive, but like it's telling people like you don't have the potential to be the way you want to be. You don't have the potential to look the way, like, because I feel like if you're striving for something, of course I'm not going to lead you in a way to like do some harmful shit, like do a 14-day liquid diet or do all this weird shit, but like learning to have patience and understanding, like, because I know there's some people out there who are bigger who want to lose weight. I'm not going to always say, well, you got to go in the gym and do a cardio hour in a day. Like, I don't do all that because I know everyone's fitness level is different than mine. I always say, okay, we'll start like this. Start with going to the gym twice a day or once a day, once a week. See how you feel going once a week, every week. And then add on another day, then add on another day. And that's how you build your way on, like, because everyone's fit. And on top of all that too, going to a gym is very, 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 very psychologically, intimidating for a lot of people. Going to the gym is intimidating as is. So like all these psychological factors on top of that, plus not knowing what you're doing when you get in there, like all these things come up to the reason why people go January 1st and be gone January 13th and never coming back. Like it's literally the reason why. And so like I feel like within this community we need to learn how to implement, taking care of yourself like physically still, like you can be a big person, but also still take care of yourself and give resources on how to be like, you could be a bigger guy, but hey, like, what about your joints? What about like the things that help you get around? What about like, cause those things matter, especially when you're getting older. Like I'm 34 and I be thinking about like, man, when I'm like 60, I want to be able to like lift my arms up. I want to be able to move a little bit still and walk around. Like working out, it's not just about losing weight. Your body is your temple. Like you have to maintain it in some way somehow, and that doesn't mean going to a gym, but going to a walk in the park, swim aerobics, fucking Zumba. Like you got to keep those joints moving. I'm
gonna push back a bit and say that this is what body positivity is about, and I'm going to tell you exactly the moment for me that was like, I think you were talking about, like, you framed that part of the conversation around like fat people losing weight, right? Like people who want to go to the gym and lose weight. And I think that the instinct is to give that advice to people who look like they need to lose weight. And no one's ever talked to the person,
I agree on that,
who's a normal weight and has certain eating habits and doesn't work out regularly and probably has fucked up joints. Like, I think that's why body positivity it deserves a distinction for fat people specifically, because there's so much surveillance and so much just like so many assumptions made about what people do and don't do. Like I know so many fat people who walk regularly, who are vegetarian. I had a friend in college who was completely vegan. She was fat. You know, she wasn't working out every day, but she's eventually lost some weight. But she had to go to the gym twice a day, 3 times a week, and was overworking herself and flared up her lupus. All this stuff that like happened as a result of her trying so hard to lose weight when she was healthy. She just wanted to lose the weight.
Yeah.
And so there are like there's that piece of it, and then there's also the political piece of it. There's all of this diet culture that's wrapped in money.
Yeah.
The way that people advertise products and like, or not, I shouldn't say political, I should say like economical, financial. Like there's an entire industry dedicated to making fat people feel bad about themselves. And not only just fat people, like making people in general, people who look like normal and they see a person with a 6-pack on TV
that's
showing them that's airbrushed and tanned and etched and had plastic surgery and is literally dedicates their life to the gym. But anyway, I want to push back on the idea that body positivity like unmotivates people to be their best self, because I think that people are on a constant journey. I think it's safe to say that people are on a journey to be their better selves. But I think that what it does, it says you're okay the way you are now. If you want to change, if that's something that you want to do in the future,
you'll be okay then.
You'll be okay then.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be your best and not be like everyone else. Like, I think that that's what has stuck out to me as a part of the movement is like, it's okay that you're 400 pounds. It's okay. There are things you can change. You could reduce your blood pressure. You could check your AHC, whatever the diabetes thing is. But like, there are things that you can do to keep yourself in check. But ultimately, you will get there. It's okay to live in your body today and be okay with the way you look and you feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree on those parts. I just think that there are certain parts of it, the rebellious part of the movement. It's like, cause I've seen ads where it's like this woman sitting in a tub full of donuts and shit. Like, not saying that it's not okay to eat donuts, but like, it's the part of where it's like, these people feel like, okay, I just can't do it anyways. Like, was
she a fat woman in a tub?
She was a big woman in a tub. And
is that giving up on, having a body goal? Or is that just like,
I think in a way
this is how I want to be and I'm just going to like,
But see, that's what I'm saying. That's the part of it, though. When you say, okay, so for me, in my 90 days, I'm going to just give my example. It's like, when I see ads like that, I instantly want to crash. We talk about ads and how the things that we see on, social media. During that whole entire, I had to do a social media cleanse, and not just from stuff like that. I had to do it from like some of the bears that had all these nice bodies and like all these things, because it was like I was realizing like I wanted to be like them and like not realize I needed to be like myself. So like even those people got unfollowed as well. I'm not blaming it on one source of thing. I'm just saying that this section of body positivity is a bad part on someone's psyche who is trying to have discipline in what they want to do, because discipline is the hardest part in losing weight. If you do not have discipline, you do not have nothing. You can go work out 4 days out of the week. You can eat clean for 4 days out of the week. But if you eating bad on the weekend, girl, you're not gonna you're gonna put those 4 pounds back on that you lost on those 4 days that you had off. So like, it's just like those little things. And I'm not saying not give myself a treat when I, on my cheat days or whatever, but I'm just saying like the point of what is the point of having a 400-pound lady in a tub with donuts surrounded around her and say, I love myself? Like,
well, it's just, I think so it's to say like, I'm allowed to be a fat bitch in a tub. Because if it was Giselle Bündchen or Paris Hilton in a tub surrounded by donuts, people would be like, oh, that's hot. But they're being subversive. Like that commercial of Paris Hilton eating the burger. I think it was a Carl's Jr.
Yeah, Carl's Jr. Yeah. And it was hot. It was sex sales.
That's a famous... Yeah, exactly. But that's the point. Like, this is a skinny person, literally skinny person, eating a burger and being like, oh, this is hot. And people are like, oh, that's attractive. But if Lizzo got up on the damn TV in a mini skirt and a bra on and ate a burger, people would be up. I mean, they are constantly up in flames about her. But I think that maybe is the point, that they're like, yeah, fat lady, you be in a tub with donuts. Like, okay, live your life. Because everyone else is allowed to do that without criticism.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, even Lizzo of today, say, like, you still have people that celebrate her, even though she has the people that go against her all the time. I mean, anytime somebody go in on Lizzo, I'm always in the tweets. So I think, again, it's just there is corners of this movement that is toxic to the people that it serves to some degree.
I can go ahead, David. Sorry.
I guess I'm a little bit confused. So, are you trying to say, Dre, that like bigger bodies like shouldn't be like celebrated?
I don't think I'm saying that because I literally just talked about bodies being celebrated.
Okay. I guess it's just let
me say it in the right way. So a person that wants to lose weight, right, and they're going to the body positivity movement they want to be celebrated and love their body where they're at right now, but they're also on this journey of wanting to actually lose a little bit more weight. But they love who they are right now. They love their man boobs or long titties, fat thighs, all that, and they want to lose but they want to lose a little bit of weight. When they see ads where it's telling the person like, well, stay who you are and love yourself because you don't love yourself if you lose weight. It's sending a weird message though.
But like, does that actually happen? Like,
it does.
Stay who you are. Like, don't do anything different to your body.
It's a reverse effect too on skinny people as well. Oh, I don't want to be big just like Darius pointed out about, it being that type of ads make someone looks a certain way, like it makes them look like they're not deserving. So if a skinny person see that, like, ooh, I don't want to be fat like her. So yeah, it's a weird diaphragm that happens, and I'm trying to explain in a way that how I see it. Because
what would you say? So the way I'm hearing it, I'm hearing a similarity to like alcoholics, right? Like someone who is in recovery and is actively every day trying to not drink, and they see an advertisement for like a Bud Light commercial. It's like, how do you control for those specific cases? Because I think part of it is part of what you're saying too, and I agree that like there is a certain amount of discipline that you have to have to an extreme amount, not a certain amount, an extreme amount of discipline you have to have to lose weight, and that is a journey in and of itself to be a disciplined person. But I think part of the discipline is not being influenced by external factors. If you are going to go out with your friends to the Cheesecake Factory and you know that you have a certain caloric
or macros
intake for the day, right? Like you know that you can't have 3 Buffalo Blasts and a burger. Like you have to, and you can't be influenced by what other people are ordering for you or for the table. In the same way that as an alcoholic, you could go to a bar with people and not drink, but you are the person that's in control of whether you partake or not. So yes, I think that the message of a person who is fat, I'm just using this specific example because it's what we've been talking about, but like in a tub with these donuts, right? Like that might be a bit triggering for a person who is trying to lose weight, or it might make them feel like, damn, I'm hungry. I want to do that. But at the same time, it is up to them as the individual to control those choices and to be disciplined. So it's hard because it's an individual choice.
Yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yeah, and we can't all of the ads that are on TV, there are certain, like my grandmother fucking hates cats. She's terrified of cats. She has a phobia of cats. But they're not going to stop displaying kitty litter, on TV. So
yeah, I get it. I think that's one of the things that like going through all my research and just seeing everything, because I actually literally looked into this topic before I even like talked about it, because I know on my last show with me and Brandon, we talked about a little bit of that, and I kind of wanted to dig deeper into it. But I just hate when I see those things. Like I hate seeing and maybe it just bothers me because of like me as an individual, who I am, and the way I love myself, and not realizing like everyone loves themselves a certain way, and that's something that I probably have to like be okay with in a sense. Like I have to be okay with someone loving themselves that way, but I just hate seeing those type of messages out when it comes to body positivity. Like, can we I'd rather people advocate about getting bigger chairs on the airplanes than motherfucking a woman sitting in the tub with donuts. Like, I don't know. That's just how I see it. I just feel like it's wasted things. Like,
can I give you another con?
Yeah.
I hate. Okay, so that there's like, and this is particularly within the gay community, when people identify themselves as chubby and they're not chubby, or they'll do things like, I ate so much food today. I'm like, I'm so bloated and fat.
Yeah.
And I think that the
they like 120.
body I think the movement has been co-opted by people who just want a reason to self-deprecate, because I think that's like the default form of humor, or like the default way that people want to present themselves. Like, I know that I have my shirt off, but really I feel fat today. And it's like, no, you're co-opting something that is real for people. Like,
right.
I avoid taking pictures, or I used to at least, taking pictures at the beach, at the pool. It took me years, most of my life, to go to the beach without a shirt on. You know, like, so to co-opt the term chubby, or to feel like you're part of a movement that's like, I deserve to celebrate my body too when I'm not feeling my best. Yeah, okay, sure. But you are taking something from someone who actually needs this moment to celebrate themselves. Like,
yeah, I highly agree.
It's like, there's this one account, there's this guy, I think his name is Bruno something on Instagram. And his whole account is dedicated to his transformation from being muscular to chubby. And there is an entire community dedicated to like gaining and all that stuff.
I know who you're talking about.
But it's so fucking stupid. I'll send you the account. It's so dumb because he's like, do you guys like that I'm chubby? Chubby guys? Haha. But the whole shtick is he saw that people liked when he was gaining. And so he was like, oh, I'm gonna keep myself this weight so that people can keep giving me attention. And that, I think, is the con, is that people have co-opted this thing to make money, to make themselves feel better about the choices they made throughout the day, or to feed into this culture of self-deprecation that people think makes them more human, when really it most of the time makes you more of a fucking asshole. I think that's one of the bigger cons. Because, like, I can't, if I sent a picture of myself to one of those gay, like, they share the pictures of people, you like submit a picture and they share your picture or whatever.
Yeah.
If I submitted a picture of myself and I was like, feeling chubby today, haha, that would not be posted next to the guy who works out regularly and ate a burger the night before and was a little bloated, and he says the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just shocking to me that people are still putting that kind of stuff on the internet. Like, kind of what we have talked about kind of in the other times that we've recorded these things. Podcasts, but like,
yeah,
it's just crazy to me that like people are so they just have like that blind spot of like, yes, real fat people exist, and like they are like constantly being bombarded with fat phobia, and like some people just think it's appropriate to like co-opt that just like you're saying, just because like they ate a burger the night before. It's like, it's the things that people will do for attention. It is mind-boggling to me. Like,
So, let's hop onto this next topic, because this is going to be a part 2, just so y'all know. It's going to be part 1, part 2, because this is going to be long. We got so much to talk about, and I really want to get everything out. So, speaking of all these things that we've talked about, as far as like, body, positivity, and how someone looks at our body and stuff like that. Do you feel like your body has affected your dating hookup life in some way?
yes.
Highly. I definitely know for me.
Is the elephant heavy? Is water wet? Yes.
Baby. Who want to go first? I know I got so much shit to say.
You go first.
Okay. So yeah, I really feel like this shit has affected me a lot, and I've noticed it. I mean, throughout, I came out in 2014. So like, when I first came out, like I realized like, man, like, okay, I'm not really getting the guys I want to get, and I was already lifting at that time too. So like that part wasn't really the thing, but I realized that was like a heavy instant thing in the bear community. And it was one of those things where I kind of latched onto it, and then like I realized like throughout that time, like I didn't really, I realized like when I gained muscle, that's when I started getting all the grinder messages and growler messages like crazy, because people start, oh, he's a lifter, oh, he looks good, he's this, he's that, and he's black, BBC, things of that sort. So it kind of like came off that way. And then like I started noticing like as I got older, like how I transitioned through the community, like, it wasn't going the way that I wanted it to go. Like I started realizing like people, like when I started gaining weight and and I wasn't like, you know, in shape, I guess, like the respect kind of changed, the hookups kind of changed, like the regulars that I hooked up with, like kind of was like, oh, I'm busy, you know, like things of that sort. Not saying that people don't get busy, but you can tell like they just want to be like, I'm not into you right now because you don't look like how you did 6 months ago. Like, you know, you're not that person anymore. So I don't want to hook up with you. And then like when I lost that weight again, it was, oh, Dre, what are you doing tonight? Oh yeah, you coming to the Eagle? Oh yeah, you want to come to my house after the Eagle? Like, it started those conversations started back up, and I was like, damn, like what the fuck? But the homie was like, if you can't beat them, join them. Like, I'm not gonna lie, and it sucked. It really sucked because it took me a while to like really gain the confidence to be like, you're not doing this for them, like you're doing this for yourself. Like, of course, who doesn't want to look good, and overall look good, like in the way they wear or what clothes they wear, how you look when you're naked. Like, who doesn't want to feel that, especially going naked, you know, especially going into spaces like, if you like me, I don't give a fuck, like bathhouses and shit like that. Like, if you want to walk around naked or be like in your towel, you want to look good and appealing to people in some way, in some shape or form. So of course you want to look that way. And I think at one point I had put too much onto it, and I realized like a lot of times when I went to those spaces, I can tell the attention was not there because I wasn't in shape like that. But then when, you know, again, when I did my 90 days challenge, I lost that 60 pounds. DMs blew up. The inboxes blew up. I'll go to a bathhouse. Everybody following me around and shit, and groups and shit is happening. It was weird. It got to a point where I felt empty. Like I felt really fucking empty. Like I felt like, yeah, I was just getting the nut, but at the same time, I was just like, damn, this is all they want from me. Like, cause I'm hot now. It's like, okay, let me get that from you cause you hot again. It was,
but like, isn't sex all you want from them too?
Sometimes, yeah, but sometimes no. Like, I mean, it depends on the person too. Like, if it's like a FWB situation, like sometimes you get kind of coerced into like, is it gonna be that, or is it gonna be like friendship, or is it gonna be just sex? Because again, I like the lines to be clear. If you just want to get fucked, okay, cool, we could just fuck. But if you want to like, you want to be friends, like, can we be friends? Can we hang out? Am I more than my body when it comes to those situations?
Sure. I mean, I guess I wouldn't like expect just like, you know, a hookup to, you know, continue hooking up with me if my body were to like change pretty drastically. Because like, as sucky it is, you know, attraction is like a kind of, for a lot of people, is a very physical thing, and it's kind of hard to control if like, oh, I think you're attractive because you're, you know, losing weight, and now that you're not, you know, you're different to me. But like, if it is someone that I consider a friend, I guess at the very least I would kind of assume that there's like a level with me, being like, hey, like, still my friend, but I'm not exactly into you physically right now. Let's like not hook up. But I understand that. I mean, of course, you know, being in Portland, kind of having those conversations are very difficult, and people don't feel comfortable like, yeah, kind of bringing those like.
And my thing is this:
essentially negative things to you.
Back then you didn't want me. Now I'm hot. You all on me, and I'm probably not gonna fuck with you no more after that. Like, that's just me, and maybe I'm childish, but the moment like you be like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with you because you bad now, like, oh bitch, you never gonna get the dick again. I ain't never finna slang it on you.
You know what's funny? Well, maybe it's because I've always been fat, but like, I have never had someone vocalize that they didn't want to be with me because I was too fat. Like, I've never.
It's irritating.
I've never experienced someone, especially like that. Like if I start talking to them, I might read it in a profile and avoid. You know, obviously, if someone says I don't like fat people, but I've never experienced someone being like, "Oh no, you're too big." Maybe when they saw my pictures, they ignored me, like, or they stopped responding. But that could have been for a variety of reasons that I don't like. I'm not going to make any assumptions about. So it's interesting because my experience has always been like people. I have found that people already know that I'm fat, so if they're talking to me, especially if they initiate, for the most part, they're probably attracted to what they're looking at, or what they assume they're going to be looking at. And the other thing too is that the more I've been honest about, or not even honest, the more that I've been clear about how I look, like showing pictures of myself without my shirt on, like in different angles and all that stuff, like in all of its glory, no matter what the lighting is, I have gotten way more play from people than when I was like fully clothed or trying to choose the photos and maybe look the skinniest. And I've had some of the best sex of my life now that I have been a lot more forthcoming about what my body looks like. Yeah. And so it's actually been a really liberating process for me, just like showing my body online and having people receive that and like respond to that in a way that's been positive. It's not, you know, like I don't get the same volume of messages as people, you know, like as some of my friends who are muscular and, you know, white even or whatever. But I do find that like people are into me because I'm fat, or not even because I'm fat, because I'm cute or, you know, right. Yeah.
And I think a part of that is just like the confidence too. Confidence just being like almost like a universally sexy thing, like just owning your body, you know, flaws and all. Like people will react to that. It's like, it's hard to like kind of see something that you like in somebody that they don't like about that. They don't like that thing about themselves. So I think when you're showing people that like, yes, this is my body, I love it. Do you love it too? Like it's like you're giving them permission to also love your body because you love it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never even had an old flame, like you were saying, Dre, that people who you hooked up with previously, like when you were a certain weight, they stopped fucking with you when you gained weight. I haven't even experienced that. And maybe I don't have, well, to be fair, I don't have a lot of like repeat partners, but even the people that I have hooked up with regularly, over some years, like that we've like been on and off, they've never made comments. And I've fluctuated weight at this point, like 70 plus pounds, you know, over the past 4 years. I think it's interesting. It's just different people, different experiences.
And I think it's just too, like, living in the place I live is just very passive aggressive. So maybe some of those situations are from an emotional space of me thinking that about them. But then, like, I've had people say, oh yeah, like there's always those excuses where, you know, like, oh, okay, that's what it is. And then they see me on this journey and it's like, oh, hey, like the message has changed. And it's so weird that happens so much. Like, I mean, what's happened to me so much in a situation, like it really does hurt a person who's already having internalized body imagery issues, things that they're struggling with and doing. So like, I'll always be like, that shit it made me jaded at a point, like, and irritated because I was like, man, like, first off, like the work that I'm doing is not for you. Like it's solely for me, but I also want to look good too. I also want to look good for myself, but of course I want people to be attracted. Like that's just the nature of even working out. Like I don't care what nobody say. Like, oh, I don't work out for nobody. That's a motherfucking lie. There's a baby percentage in there, at least 13%, that you are wanting someone to see you because you're working out. There's no person on this fucking world that works out to say I don't do it to look good for somebody. Like, you know how many fucking bitches I see in the gym doing the same squat movements every fucking week because they want somebody to see their booty? Like, stop it. So I hate when people do that. I hate it. I hate when people when they say that shit. But it's just like, it is one of those things that just frustrates me to a degree that it has happened so many times, and it makes me feel like I don't even want to fuck with y'all. Like, I don't want to. No, I'm cool.
Why is that so hard for you to believe though? That somebody is genuinely just like, I want to work out because I want to feel good internally and not.
No, I'm saying some people. I'm saying some people act as if they don't want to look good first. They don't want to work out to look good for somebody or something or people. Like there's this notion that like, oh, there's some people out here like, oh, I just work out just for myself, and it's like, nah, bro, stop fucking lying. There's some people out there that you want to see you. Like everyone does that. Be fucking real. I was having that conversation with a lifter today online, actually. Perfect time.
I guess if you're like lifting and also posting pictures of yourself online, it's hard to say that you're not doing it for somebody else. But I feel like, regular people who are like chronically online, like I can understand if they're just like, I just want to work out just for me. A byproduct might be that people might be more interested in me, but like ultimately that's not.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying a large percent. I'm saying like there's a small percentage of you in you that says, oh, I want people to look good. I want to look good for other people. just, that's inevitable with working out. Most people start off with, I want to look good for other people versus myself. That's a transition into like, I want to be better for myself type thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I really seen how it really affected my life in the sense of just dating and all of that shit. Like, it just, you can tell, like, I'm telling you, all the fucking guys that hit me up after my 90-day challenge and the messages I got, I was just like, oh fuck, like, I'm a dope ass motherfucker. Like, I'm dope as fuck, funny as hell, cute as fuck, got a bright smile, motherfucker, and you want me because I got a nice body now? Like, that's one of the things I just hate. I don't want to go into this tyrant about dating because that's just doing too much right now. And this episode would be 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah, that has to be part 2, the remix.
Right, part 2. But that's the thing I fucking hate the most. I hate that shit. But before we go, I will start off with this, though. I want to ask this because this is a bonus question. I want to ask this. Now that I talked about the negative parts of everything, what is, if you guys are comfortable talking about it, what is the most, or what is your favorite part of your body and why?
I really love, I love my face. I think that I am a very like attractive person, and I think that I have a very nice face, but I think just the structure of my face, I love my nose, I love my lips, I love the ratio of everything, like the eyebrow to nose to lip. I think that it's giving. Unfortunately, like, I'm sorry to all the rest of you, but like,
it's giving.
I'm sorry,
it's
it is
giving.
Unfortunately giving.
So
giving.
yeah, I really do. I love looking at myself in the mirror. I love taking selfies like that. I do really love my face. But like the rest of my body, I mean, yeah, I like the rest of my body. I have a great dick. I have great legs. I have, like whatever. But the face card is just, it's always, it's surpassing in all ways.
I love hearing you talk about yourself like that. I like that. I don't know. I mean, I feel I've always liked my shoulders and just kind of like my upper body. I feel like I have like kind of a nice kind of linebacker rebuild and kind of broader shoulders, which I appreciate.
No, sure.
I don't know. I guess this was a really difficult question for me because like I it's always so much easier to find the pieces of my body that I don't like.
Yeah.
Like the things that kind of need changing, and so it was a fun and challenging exercise to be like, okay, what do you like? Like what do you think is actually good? So I'll say my shoulders.
For me is my back. I love my fucking back. And not just because of the way it's built, but I feel like people don't realize like the functionality of the back is like overall where everything, I mean, pretty much is like it's something like the core. It's more important than the core. It's the overall function of like your whole entire body. I don't want to get too deep into that because that's
let's talk about backs for an hour. Yeah, I'm interested.
I mean, the posterior chain is pretty much the most important muscles of the body, in that pretty much everything that you use, from your arms to your shoulders to your legs, posterior chain muscles are something that you need to work on.
Well, that explains why my legs be moving so slow, because my back is tight.
It is the critical. It plays a critical role, I'm telling you, in your day-to-day activities. But then, like, my chest slowly has become my favorite. Like, I used to hate my chest. Like, and I mean, I've always talked about surgeries. I still think about it, but I've always wanted to do it, like, get a surgery, because I hated my chest. I hated my nipples. I hated all that shit. And then, like, one day I was in the shower, I was like, damn, I love these motherfucking titties is right. Like, titties is right. Like, I start taking selfies with them. I was like,
absolutely.
I started sending the pictures out, and then like realizing like guys actually like that shit. It made it even more like oh, okay. Like, I mean, I like them now too, but like damn, like I didn't realize how much it wasn't a big. I didn't realize how big of a thing it was for people, and I was like, okay. I mean, I guess that's a plus, but like I actually like them for myself. But I mean, who knows? A year from now, I'll probably get surgery or something if I hate them too much or whatever. I don't know how to deal with my issues.
Well, you know what, Dre? You're beautiful just the way you are. There's no
don't change.
Girl, I know.
Don't change.
I'm fire. Can't nobody tell me otherwise. I'm fire. But thank you guys for the 5th time. Shit. And I know the audio is going to be perfect because I did this show already on FaceTime. And I think I'm going to always do it on FaceTime now because at least if the person has FaceTime, but like perfect audio from my last show. So audio or FaceTime it is for now on. But again, yeah, you guys know where to follow me at, which is The Real Doc Dre on Instagram, Bubba's Banter Podcast, Facebook, Bubba's Banter, and Twitter, Bubba's Banter. And I'm still working on my website, which has been a doozy. And I'm still trying to get this email thing set up too for you guys so y'all can get emails or whatever. But yeah, there's that. You guys want to shout out, do anything, say anything?
RIP Twitter. It was nice knowing you.
Man,
so nice knowing
we gotta talk about that online.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about that.
It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Before I get off,
this was going to be the 1 week that I was going to plug a social, but like it's Twitter and like ain't nobody gonna do that. So
yeah,
no socials for me.
That's all right. Man, I can't delete my Twitter just yet, but whatever. I'll see y'all on Thursday.